So 2022 is but a distant memory. It's now in the rearview mirror, but there are so many different lessons we can take away from what has been a brutal year in the markets and the worst year recorded since 2008. If you're in crypto, you've taken an almighty beating. If you're in stocks, bonds, any asset class, you've taken an almighty beating. But what can we learn from the year that has just left? I'm going to break down my key lessons which I leave 2022 with and walk into 2023. In this video, I break down my key lessons learned throughout 2022 and the things I want to improve on going into 2023. The first thing I take away from 2022 is that people aren't actually prepared for a recession. Remember, crypto has not seen a major financial crisis. The last one that happened was in 2008, but crypto didn't actually start to come into the fore until 2009 after Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper. So this is crypto's first major financial crisis, and it's yet to be seen how it navigates through that period. But one thing is for sure, the majority of people who have entered crypto have entered recently. They've entered during a bull market period. So for them, their outlook is that things are always rosy and things will very quickly go into the next bull cycle. And so what they're underestimating is the power that a huge recession and downward market can have. Now, I was lucky. I was lucky in the sense that I started my career in traditional finance during the financial crisis. Otherwise, I'd have this same missing objective, right? I wouldn't see this point. But because I had seen it in traditional finance, I could come into crypto knowing that these crises can be a lot deeper and more painful than people think. But for people new in crypto, it could be really tough. So that's one lesson I've definitely taken away, is that the crypto markets can move very differently to the original traditional finance markets. The traditional finance markets have been through plenty bull and bear markets, and they've experienced deep financial crises, deep recessions, and depressions. Whereas crypto has not even navigated a deep recession. So that's one thing I've learned this year, is just to be a little bit patient and let crypto markets catch up with what traditional markets are doing. They've not experienced this before, and so it can be a little bit more impulsive, that when you see a green day, money quickly flows back into crypto, making you feel a little bit emotional, like, oh wait, am I missing something? But then it catches back up and falls down the next few days thereafter. So that's one lesson I've definitely taken away in 2022. The next thing is that CBDCs are coming. Now, this is something we've known for a while, right? We've spoken about it. We know CBDCs are coming, but like in 2022, we realized they're actually coming, and they're coming quickly. And this took me for a little bit of a surprise. Look, if there's one thing we know, governments are slow. They're notoriously slow with technology. And my view on this was always that, look, they have an intention of doing it, but it still could take them a very long time because they've not even figured out social media. They've not figured out all these kind of technology pieces. How are they going to figure out blockchain and actually get themselves set up on a CBDCs? But then I've realized throughout 2022 that if there's a will, there is a way. And there's clearly a will here alongside programmable money and social currencies, where governments can start to control behavior through currencies. And I think that's enough of a motive for them to really throw a lot of resource at CBDCs to go and get it done quickly. So normally, where a government's timeline would be decades, I wouldn't be surprised to see if we see CBDCs heavily rolled out by 2025, right? That kind of a time frame. And that was a major realization. I mean, if you put it into perspective, in March, Joe Biden asked his officials to start researching CBDCs and a potential digital dollar. Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, then came out in May asking for public comments around a US digital dollar. In other words, they're trying to appease the public to get you used to the idea of a US dollar, because clearly they're already working on one in the background. But that's not it. The Bank of International Settlements, who control a lot of these central banking organizations and make them communicate together, they ran a survey. And they found out that 80% of central banks are conducting work on this topic, and around 40% of them have moved from just conceptual research to actual experiments or proof of concepts, and another 10% have developed pilot projects already. Now, do I think this is going to happen straight away in the large economically developed countries? I think it's going to take a little bit of time. But do not be surprised to see some of these smaller countries really move fast with these CBDCs, and then the other bigger economies coming behind it. Now that's going to pose a lot of risks, a lot of dangers for crypto, but also a lot of opportunities, because these CBDCs will be looking for infrastructure to build on, and certain infrastructures out there have already marketed and positioned themselves as programmable for CBDCs. From an altruistic point of view, what does it mean for our lives? I don't like where this is heading, right? I don't like the notion that a government can control my money because I don't adhere to A, B, or C. That's a little bit of a problem, and that's something, again, picked up in 2022, that this is something we need to be very, very worried about going into 2023. Now, no surprise, when I was making my list of things learned in 2022, this one was the first on the list, and that is that nobody, absolutely nobody, can be trusted in crypto. And by saying that, I probably sound like a real, pessimist. I can't trust anybody, don't do business with anybody. But no, if you look at 2022, whether it was Do Kwon at Terra Luna, whether it was Voyager, whether it was 3 Hours Capital, whether it was Sam Bankman-Fried over FTX, we have seen the implosion and bad, horrible practices from individuals acting in the name of crypto. And there was a huge lesson last year that, look, there are people who are here to exploit crypto. And look, sometimes we can get caught up with our altruistic intentions in crypto, right? We can really want to make a difference in the space, be this antidote to the traditional finance space, and be better and improve on fiat currencies and make money accessible to everybody. But not everybody thinks the same. There are many actors out there who are simply in crypto to make a quick buck. And that hurts the person with altruistic values, right? Somebody who actually believes in the goodness of crypto can easily get blindsided by that. You believe in everybody and feel like they have good intentions. But the reality is a lot of these CEOs, the people are putting on a pedestal, and I was saying this throughout the year as well, guys, stop putting these people on a pedestal. Crypto is supposed to be decentralized. And if you look at all of these failures we've experienced, it was based on humans making bad risk management practices, being greedy, rehypothecation, all the same things I've known internally, because I saw that in traditional finance. I saw that happening in the mortgage crisis. I saw greed take over the traditional finance markets. We are no better, right? Crypto at this point, at this juncture, is no better, and that hurts, but that realization comes first, because if we can accept it, then we can start working on it and trying to improve it. And so we have to audit the people going into 2023, that we as a community, because it's our collective community that puts these people on a pedestal. They don't get the following on Twitter just like that. They don't get the following on YouTube and places like that for no reason. It's you voting with your eyeballs and with your attention. So the next time you think, oh, Sam Bankman-Fried can do no wrong, or Voyager or 3 Hours Capital or anybody can do no wrong, and you're retweeting their tweets and you're helping them perpetuate these lies, you've got to question yourself, and you've got to say, guys, it can't be right what they're doing. How are they taking such shoddy risk management practices? What is going on? And I think we got to hold each other accountable in this crypto space to stop putting these people on a pedestal. Put the technology on a pedestal, that's absolutely fine. Put the ledgers, put the layer 1 blockchains, put the technology on a pedestal, put the ideas and concepts on a pedestal, but not these individuals. That's one thing we've definitely learned throughout 2022. Next up, AI. And this really started happening towards the back end of 2022. Again, similar to CBDCs, AI was always on the agenda. It was always on the roadmap. We knew it was a matter of when, not if, AI was really going to take over our day-to-day lives. But with ChatGPT, with OpenAI, with some of the amazing softwares, and there are hundreds of them out there now, softwares and tools out there now, our lives will not be the same. It's really exciting when you dig into this technology to see the number of possibilities that open up now because of these technologies. And if we're to apply some of those into crypto, I mean, let's take a very basic example. To build an NFT project in January of last year would have taken you a graphic designer, a number of artists to design your CryptoPunks or your Mutant Apes and get the whole set out and push it out. You could do that in minutes for free now using something like Midjourney, right? You can take an AI script and it can generate bespoke images for you. It can create an NFT set and then you can just list it and start selling it, right? And these are so many great options. I mean, if you look at something like ChatGPT, you can ask an AI to copyright for you. So if you're a layer 1 blockchain and you're trying to spin up your website and you can't be bothered writing 10 pages of copy, the AI can do it for you. It can write your ad campaigns for you. It can write your tweets for you. It's insane where this technology can go and how scalable it can make adoption go, not just in crypto, but in everything, in all of tech, in the whole of the globe, right? It's going to be huge, and it's only just started. That's the crazy bit with AI. So definitely something that came into play towards the end of 2022, AI, and I think that's going to be a huge, probably the biggest theme of 2023. The next thought I had, and lessons when reflecting on 2022, is this notion around there being an escape velocity. If you imagine you're trying to build your net worth, right? That's one of the reasons we're in crypto. We want to build sustainable net wealth, and you guys know my money is not all in crypto, right? I've got a percentage in crypto, I've got some in real estate, I've got stocks, I've got other businesses, and that builds my net worth. And I know that's not attractive to some people. Some people just want to find this guy on Twitter who made $1 billion from crypto, and they're chatting rubbish to you. So if you guys can't figure that out, then go and watch those channels and believe that they're making billions of dollars on Bitcoin leverage trades. I can tell you for sure they're not, right? Now that we can move on, if you're looking to build sustainable wealth, one of the thoughts I had was around escape velocity. And this is one of the bits that, again, if you want to be a bit of conspiracy theorist around it, society doesn't want you to get past that escape velocity. Let me explain. If you're earning the average, let's say $25,000, you can just make ends meet, you can afford your rent, you can afford some groceries, you can afford everything else. You sit there and you listen to people on YouTube saying, you've got to save 30% of your monthly income. And you're sitting there thinking, how? I've got nothing left. I'm waiting for the next paycheck so I can pay my bills for the next month. It's just month after month, paycheck to paycheck. That's what I mean by escape velocity. The majority of people will never make it out of that position where they do have an excess 30. And if they do, what they often do is they inflate their lifestyle so they just get back to point A again, where they're spending exactly what they're making in that month. Now, I'm going to give you a stat to put this into perspective. Let's use Elon Musk as an example. Elon Musk's net worth is around 140 billion. The exact numbers don't matter, I'm illustrating a point. If Elon Musk was to buy a jet, and let's say his jet cost $26 million for his jet, that jet represents 0.018% of his net worth. Guys, it's not even 0.02% of his net worth. I'm going to put this into context a little bit better for you. If you were earning that same guy we spoke about, earning $25,000, that's the equivalent of him or her spending $4. Yep, $4. So for Elon Musk to buy a jet, it's $4. And this is important because if you can, by building pragmatic and sustainable net worth, get enough escape velocity that you can get out of the rat race, get out of your monthly expenses where you're just meeting enough to get to your monthly expenses, everything becomes exponentially easier. If you double your income today, your cost should not double. If you doubled it again, your cost certainly will not double again, right? There's only so much that groceries can cost. Okay, you can go from one shop to, let's say, Waitrose. You can go from taking the bus to taking an Uber everywhere. You can go from a simple car to a nicer car. But as you can see with the example I gave you with Elon Musk, he cannot dent his net worth. It's impossible. And it's the same on a smaller scale as well. Once you start to multiply your income, your expenses just won't catch up. But you have to give yourself the breathing room. You've got to get past that escape velocity and be able to save that 30-40% and invest it. And then we come on to obviously crypto, stocks. Where do you invest your money? That's a separate conversation which obviously we navigate here through this channel. And my last lesson learned throughout 2022 is that people just seek binary outcomes. They just want black and white. And I think this is, again, something you innately know, but I think 2022 again made that very, very obvious. People just want to know. It's my first full year of making content here on YouTube. We started halfway through 2021. And people just want to know the answer, right? They come to the channels like mine and they just want to know, where is Bitcoin heading? Is this the top? I mean, look at the questions I asked you. Is this the top? Is this the bottom? Will Bitcoin go any lower? Will Bitcoin go any higher? But the answer in all of these situations is grey. The answer is not black and it's not white, it's grey. And oftentimes, if you just explore a little bit deeper, you're going to get to the right answer. But it's just not black or white. You need to actually engage your brain. Let me give you another analogy. It's like walking up to a crossroad and asking the gentleman standing there, which way is the shop? And you ask him, is it left or right? And he gives you an answer, yeah, it's not actually neither of those. It's straight ahead and then a left and then a right. Now, the answer isn't complicated, but if you don't engage your brain to actually understand the nuances of what he's trying to tell you or what he's trying to educate you on, then you're never going to receive that. You're just blaming him to say, I asked you, is it left or right? Can you see how irrational that sounds? But that's often what we find people doing in crypto. We get confused in our own biases that we're seeking binary outcomes. But life isn't that simple. Investing certainly is not that simple, and crypto on top of that is definitely triply not that simple. You need to engage your brain, you need to be able to change with new data, with new insights, and you need to not get emotionally attached to any of your investments. And the other thing on top of all of that is nobody knows the answer. That's the beauty around investing. Warren Buffett is an amazing investor. He cannot for sure tell you which stocks are going to do amazingly well this year. He has a better probability than most, but he cannot tell you for sure. But for some reason, when people come to crypto, they think certain people, certain influencers, certain creators can tell you the exact coin that's going to go up and the exact percentage and the date that it's going to go up. Trust me, if somebody's telling you that, it's a pump and dump, right? Or they're just completely making it up. So that's my final lesson learned in 2022. So there you have it, guys. Those were the lessons I learned throughout what has been a challenging year from a financial perspective, but a very, very insightful year. You would have learned a lot about your own psychology if you take the time to reflect like I have and come up with the lessons you've learned. You will realize that you would have learned a lot. Yes, your portfolio won't show it. Yes, it will look down, but we have been through a statistical anomaly of a year in investing. And if you've managed to navigate that, not only do you need to give yourself a pat on the back, but you've now armed yourself with knowledge, and not just knowledge, but wisdom, having lived through it and acted and invested through it, which will stay with you for a very long time. Remember, we've had 14 years of a bull cycle in terms of traditional markets. We've just faced the worst year since 2008. That is a major coup and a major feather in your cap. I know it doesn't feel like that, but you've navigated that. You've navigated that, you're still here, and you're still trying to build your wealth in the financial markets through investments. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you appreciate this type of content, smash up likes, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.